At the halfway point of the England innings, we asked just one question. Why has the real Joss Buttler not stood up? Who is this guy batting today? And maybe it was a surface, maybe it was the conditions, maybe it was the wickets lost. We couldn't quite figure it out. Well, the question was quickly answered in the next 10 overs. Getting to 100, the first of this tournament, and it was an outstanding innings that has taken England to a very, very respectable score. But let's first put up what Buttler did. 101 not out of 67 deliveries at a strike rate of 150.74, 6 fours, 6 sixes, and pretty much everything, all the entertainment came in the second half of the innings. Here we are on Cricbuzz Live to look back on that effort from England, once again bossing it, not in the same style in the first 10 overs, but finishing with a very, very decent score. Here I am, joined by Michael Vaughan and Harsha Bhogle. Harsha, I'm just going to throw one number. I didn't want to refer to India's game again. England at the 10 over mark, 47 for 3. India at the 10 over mark were one better, were 48 for 3. Where do England finish?
True. A couple of things going their way. In all fairness, they've got the informed player in Joss Buttler, by easily the best opening batsman in T20 cricket at the moment. There's a stampede there. There's some wonderful opening batsmen. But I think the manner he played against Australia and the manner he played today has just set him apart. I find the Sri Lankan team interesting in that, Gautam, we've all seen a lot of Sri Lankan cricket. They always had an Aravinda or a Jayasuriya or a Dilshan. Even Russell Arnold with his quirky action used to come and bowl a little bit. Now they don't have a single slow bowler. And so they've conceded 128 runs from 12 overs. They didn't have a slower bowler to go to. Very similar to what happened against Australia, where 100 came of 8 overs and 55 came of 9 overs of slow bowling. So it was very clever, played out Tikshana, played out a little bit of Hasaranga, and said, right, now let's get down to business. Kumar is a worry, I think, for them. He bowls too many. He's been traveling too often. I know the dew is up, but this is going to be very difficult to get.
But Michael, let's talk about Buttler. I actually dared to question his intent in the first 10 overs.
That was his brother Ross. That was his twin brother Ross.
You quickly put me in my place and said, Joss Buttler is not a one-trick pony. And he showed us why.
He's that good that he can wait for the dew to arrive. That's how good a player he is. For the first 10 overs, the dew wasn't there. It was tricky. Sri Lanka bowled great, got early wickets. And he's the best because he can do exactly what he's done throughout that innings. He just hung in there. And then all of a sudden he found his range, got a few over the ropes. And he's such a hard batsman to stop once he starts hitting those sixes, because he doesn't hit sixes in the same area. Some players just hit it over cow corner, long on. And, if you go wide of off stump, you can restrict the sixes from being hit. If you go wide of off stump to Joss Buttler, you can still carve your way over point or over extra cover, or you can play one of those trick shots. He's got the real 360-degree game of hitting sixes, not just boundaries. He's an incredible player, calm, smart. You can see he's always talking to the non-striker at the other end about what to do. Owen Morgan's the captain without any question. He's a brilliant leader. The real thinking in this cricket team is Joss Buttler. He's a really, really smart cricket thinker. And you can say when he gets the bat in hand, he's such a hard... I used to play against so many players that played aggressively. You always felt, they'll give you a chance. I think Butler's so hard to play against that on a day like today, when he realised conditions weren't quite in his favour, he just hung in there and he didn't give them a chance. And then he knew his chance would come. That's why he's such a great player.
They have a great relationship, Gautam, those two. Joss Buttler and Owen Morgan share a very, very warm, cordial relationship. A lot of respect for each other there. And I think this innings is so important for Owen Morgan to stand in his dressing room and say, I got the runs today. I weathered the storm. I got the runs. I got 40 from 36. That partnership took us out from where we might have been. So from that point of view, I think it was fantastic for Morgan as well. But what Michael said is so true. Where did Joss Buttler hit sixes today? He hit straight. He hit over long on. He hit over deep backward square. And he hit over cover. So he's hitting sixes everywhere. And I mean, he could hit us. Didn't he hit one there? Or did that go for 4? Over fine leg?
No.
One bounce, yeah, but was almost there. So, yeah, you can hit them everywhere. It's dew versus England.
Yes, it's dew versus England. But Michael, let me get your thoughts on Owen Morgan. Buttler, of course, was pacing himself for the second half of the innings. Morgan, for the first 20 deliveries, looked like the same Morgan from the IPL. And we were going, here we go again. Shouldn't they have Moeen Ali in there? Shouldn't they have Liam Livingstone in there? He too bided his time, and then he brought the Owen Morgan from 2019.
Yeah, you could argue that Owen Morgan's 40 is more valuable to England than Josh Butler's 100 in the context of the whole tournament, because England needed Morgan to get some runs. They needed him to find his range, find a bit of belief and confidence. It does not affect his standing in the dressing room, whether he's getting runs or not. He is the Messiah. He is the Messiah in that white ball dressing room. So all the talk of would his position be under threat? No chance. He's such a well-respected leader. Tactically, he's fantastic. But just for him and himself, and to get that amount of time out in the middle, and to get that key partnership with Josh Buttler, those good vibes coming back through his body of hitting the ball into the stands a few times, that'll be great for him. And in time and in this tournament, I think it's going to be really good for the team.
Harsha, you talked about Buttler being 360. There are a few trademark Morgan shots when they're coming off. That he's back. One of them is when that shimmy down and over extra for 6.
Over extra long off, that area, yes. But when Butler's batting well, wear your helmet at cow corner, because that is his go-to place. He's not quite as 360 as Buttler, because he's got his hitting areas. Yes, you said over long on and there over mid-wicket. So if he is scoring runs, apart from his own self-confidence, and every time I spoke to him during the IPL, I thought I was speaking to a man who was hitting 70, 80 in every match. There was just so much confidence coming through. It didn't seem like he was worried about his own form. He said, yeah, I'm not scoring runs. But when you've had a period not scoring runs, it means you're closer to scoring the next one. And, because he said it so earnestly, you couldn't even say anything back to him. But it's come back today. So, yeah, as I said, 160 from where they were is fantastic. If they can bowl if they can win the power play again, then that's the game there, I think.
I know at the halfway point, Michael, you were even happy with about 130, because we'd suddenly seen 47 for 3 and Buttler was there, but not quite looking himself. Owen Morgan was struggling a bit. Now the extra few runs, the extra 30 runs almost seems like a cushion, despite the fact that there's lots of dew.
Butler getting 100, I think it sways the game. I think par on that wicket looked around 130. The Buttler factor is such a big play in the game. If Liam Livingstone had come out there, he can strike a ball, but it looked a kind of wicket that you probably need to be in the confident mind of a Josh Buttler to strike it so consistently. You saw how long it took Owen Morgan to get to that hitting kind of range. Buttler is, once Buttler plays, I honestly don't see how teams can match England. If Buttler comes out of the traps and plays, he's just such a difference. I mean, as Harsha mentioned, there's some wonderful opening batters, magnificent players, but there's something about Josh Buttler at the minute that is head and shoulders above the rest. He's just got that bit between his teeth, those eyes. I've seen those eyes before. That it's steel. He's got calmness and he's a lovely guy, but I tell you what, he's made of steel. And when he gets that kind of buzz and that want, and he wants another World Cup. He wants to be a part of England lifting that trophy in a week or so's time. I saw those eyes in 2019, and I've seen them again, and they're going to take some stopping with the form that.
Would you almost ask Bairstow to keep wickets today, given that he's been running up and down 20 overs, very humid? Would you almost ask Bairstow to keep wickets?
Nah, Butler, he loves being behind but he loves being behind the stumps, being in the game, and tactically helping Morgan. That combination and that relationship that you mentioned, Harsha, you're spot on, because they just have a synergy that they just look at each other, and Morgan allows Buttler to manoeuvre the field, and there's no kind of look from the captain say what you're doing. He just allows him to do what he does from behind the stumps, and a lot of the information that Morgan gets comes from Buttler behind the stumps. So he'll be out there sweating, he'll be keeping, and he'll be manoeuvring those fielders like he has done in the previous games.
Can I answer that without knowing Buttler as well as Michael Vaughan does? And to refresh the relationship between Morgan and Buttler. He is keeping. He's already contributed to the first wicket that's fallen. Morgan throws. Buttler whips it off quickly. First wicket, run out. Bye-bye, Pathum Nissanka. So Butler's very much there, very much in the game, sweating.
How can you get a run out in the first over when you're chasing 160, tell me?
Only
Panic.
Buttler can do it. He found a way
You
to
need
whip
a
off the bails.
you need a high school cricket master. We used to have a very tough cricket master who'd say, if you get run out, don't come back to where I am, walk the other way and go home from there.
Well, now that the match is underway, Harsha, one quick word on Wanindu Hasaranga. Came in the power play, bowled a couple of overs, picked up a couple of wickets, came in the 19th over again, asked to bowl at difficult times, delivering every time.
You know, he's got such a low arm action. You see, he even crouches even lower while he bowls. So his ball is always going to skid through. He doesn't give you much short. He bowls wicket to wicket. I'm just waiting for the day when people start hitting him back straight rather than trying to go across, because his stock ball is a skidder. The odd ball will come in. He bowls a very rare leg break. So I'm waiting to see people now starting to hit him straight down the ground, but he's going through he's going to the patch of his life.
Yeah, for the moment, though, England respected him. They respected Theekshana, and they found other bowlers to go after, which is why they've got the total they have. I think it's fairly unanimous in this studio that England seem to have enough runs on the board. Add to that the wicket that Sri Lanka have lost. It's going to be tough going. Thank you, gentlemen. Michael, Harsha, we'll see all of you on Cricbuzz Combox to see how Sri Lanka progress with this run chase, with all the dew out there. Will it be advantage Sri Lanka, or will England continue to take advantage of this total? That's all on Cricbuzz Live.